In this video, we'll look at the syntax for declaring and initializing arrays. The syntax for an array declaration is very simple. First, we write the type of each element in the array. This is followed by the name of the array variable. Then we provide square brackets, which is the array indexing operator, and in the square brackets we provide the size that we want the array to be. Remember, this size is fixed, so the compiler must know the size of whatever's in the square brackets at compile time. So this can be a constant literal, it can be a declared constant, or a constant expression. In the first example, we're declaring an array named test scores of 5 integers. The second example declares an array named high scores per level of 10 integers. And the third example declares an array named high temperatures of 365 doubles. Notice that days and years are declared constant, so the compiler knows its value. Also note that in all three cases, the arrays have not been initialized. This means that the contents of the array elements could be anything. Best practice is to always initialize arrays when you declare them. Let's see how we can do that. We can also initialize arrays when we declare them, and it's good practice to do so. The syntax is similar to when we initialize primitive variables. We include an initialization list after the declaration. In this list, we can provide as many initializers as we like, separated by commas. In the first example, test scores is initialized to 100, 95, 99, 97, and 88. The initialization works as you would expect. The test scores array element at index 0 is initialized to 100, the element at index 1 to 95, and so on. In the second example, you see that we declared an array named high scores per level of 10 integers, but we only provided two values in the initializer list, 3 and 5. In this case, the first two elements of the array are initialized to 3 and 5 respectively, and the remaining 8 array elements will be initialized to 0. In the third example, all of the elements of the array high temperatures are initialized to 0. This is a very handy initializer that's used very often. The final example is a little bit different. In this case, I didn't provide any number for the size of the array inside the square brackets. Instead, I'm letting the compiler determine the size of the array based on the number of elements in the initializer list. This form is also often seen. In this case, another array will be of size 5 integers, and they'll each be initialized from 1 to 5. As you can see, the syntax for declaring and initializing arrays is very straightforward. In the next video, we'll look at the syntax for accessing individual array elements.